Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video we will learn about the concept of item variant. Okay, to start with the concept of item variant, first of all you need to open up the item list. So here in my case this is my item list, and let's start from creating a new item, and then we will learn about its item variant concept. Okay, so here it is. I'm creating a new item, and to understand this concept of item variant in a much simpler way, what I should do is that I'll create an item of a smartphone. Okay, so let's say a smartphone of Samsung Galaxy S22. Okay, the latest one in the market currently. So let's understand the case that you have an item called Samsung Galaxy S22 phone with you. Okay, and we know that although it is a one item, it's a one smartphone, but it comes with different variants. Like we have one 8 GB, 128 GB model, 256 GB model, 512 GB model, right? Like that. So because although the smartphone is same, which is S22, so for example, if you buy 128 GB model, then also you own S22 only. If you buy 256 GB of model, then also you own S22 model only. They are not different with each other. Even the looks of the smartphone is not very different, but the only difference is of the hardware, right? And because we all know, although the companies launch different GBs model to the market, but somewhere down the line we have to keep track that how much inventory we own of 128 GB model, how much inventory we own of 256 GB model, and how much inventory we own for 512 GB model, right? Because when we sell, we give the option to the customer that they can select out of these three options of 128, 256, 512G, right? And thus we have to make up our inventory levels of these models separately. So with this concept in the mind, we have one option is that we can create three new different items in our system. One pertains to S22 128 GB, and second one is 256 GB and 512 GB, so on like that. So because if we create a new and a separate item card for each of these models, then it becomes so simple for us, first of all, that to keep track of their inventory levels, to keep track of when we buy, when we sell any product of this model, and of on what cost we are doing all this activity and stuff. But the thing is, obviously, to manage the three item cards, three new items with separate everything is a quite complex when it comes to handle one item only, right? So, for example, if we create three items, we all know that how to create new items and how to proceed with the sales and purchase order stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to explain that. But today in this video, we are talking about item variants only. So here, the benefit that item variant brings into this kind of concept is that rather than we create a three new item cards uh, to make this work in our ERP, what we can do, we can create only one item, which is Samsung Galaxy S22. Because as I said earlier, the person who buy 128 GB model or the person who buy 256 GB of model, they both are using the same smartphone, which is Samsung Galaxy S22. So our main item is Samsung Galaxy S22 only, but to handle the inventory parts, to maintain everything from the quantity perspective, what we can do is that we can go to the actions, click on the items, and here is the case called variants. So if I click on this, now this screen gives us the option to maintain to handle different models of this smartphone. So for example, here we could create a 128 GB model, then 256 GB model, okay, and then 512 GB model, right? So now I have attached these three models or these three variants with my item number 1001 Samsung Galaxy S22, right? So now in this case, what will happen? I have created only one item, but now I can maintain three different variants against my one single item, right? One more feature that this screen brings is that when you click on related and when you click on this variant, we have a concept of translations here as well. So for example, in order to handle the language part of these captions which you introduce in the item variant screen, you can do it here so that all of your customers whose native language is different from each other, so you can add that particular language code and the description which exactly matches your current English caption with their particular language code, so that everybody could read it, understand it in a perfect way. So you can handle the translations as well from this screen for these three new variants which we have created here. Okay, so now when we are done with this screen, let's come up to the main item card here. So now let me complete a few of the bits and bits with respect to the item, which is my general product posting group, inventory posting group, costing method is FIFO, and the unit of measure is also defined as pieces, right? So everything is we have defined correctly. Now let's see the magic of this item variant when we go ahead with any purchases or the sales. Okay, so the thing is, let's for the case, let me go to the purchase order. Okay, here it's my purchase order, and let me click on the new button, and let's say I purchase this from my this vendor. Okay, and here I will select my new item, which is Samsung Galaxy S22. So I am buying Samsung Galaxy S22. All right, I have selected this. Okay, so it's got selected, and my description field got the information that which item I'm buying. But of course, when we know that when we go to the shop and we try to buy a smartphone, vendor generally asks us that which model we are actually looking for purchasing purposes. So we have these three options available, that we want to buy 128 GB, we want to buy 256 GB, we want to buy 512 GB. Okay, so let's select this one as 128 GB, and in the second line also I'll select the same item. Okay, but here in this case I'll buy 256 GB. Okay, so you see here I am creating two different lines. Why? Because I am buying two different models of the item, right? So that each line defines that which variant code I am buying. Okay, by default, this variant code generally is not visible on the purchase line or in the sales line. So what you can do is that you can click on the personalize button and add the respective field from the screen to your sales line or the purchase line page. Okay, so this is the field which we can use to handle our variants, to mention our variants in the sales and purchase line, so that we can handle our inventories, respective inventories, in a efficient manner. Okay, so let's do one thing here. I no need to define any location. Let's go ahead and let's say that I am buying 10 quantities of 128 GB and 10 quantities of 256 GB. Here is the price. Let me mention like this. Okay, I'm not typing an exact amount that how much it exactly costs, but I'm just putting out any random number. So don't uh, please bear with me for this part. Okay, so now we have successfully defined that what exactly we want to buy. And once we are done, click on the release button and let's click on posting and click on post. I want to receive an invoice both, so click on OK. And here it is. The order is posted and moved to posted purchase invoice window. Fine. Now let's go back to my item. Okay, so here it is. Now this is my item. So when you open your item, it looks like to you that you have an inventory of 20, right? But now 20 inventory which you own is separate from each other. How come? Because if you let's see its ledger entry, and in the item ledger entries, we have a field called variant code through which you could easily identify that although the item is same, but system has created two different lines for it. It has not created one line of 20 quantity, right? But because we are using the concept of variant, and variant is the thing which makes our same item looks different, behave different, and because of that reasons, in the item ledger we have two different lines with us, which is of 10 quantity of 128 GB and 10 quantity of 256 GB. Okay, so it's not like that you can because your item card is showing uh, 20 inventory, so you can sell it out 20 inventory just like that. Okay, you have to mention that which variant code you are selling, and in case you select variant code is 256 GB and put it out the quantity as 20, then it will give you an error. Okay, that you don't own that particular respective inventory with you. Okay, you have two separate models inventory with you. Okay, so this is how you can see that you how well you are handling the concept of models and the variants, through which you can easily gauge off that how much uh, uh, inventories you own with respect to different variants. Okay, so let's see the sales order part, that how to handle this say in the sales order. So let me click on the new sales order and okay, show more. Now let me select a customer number and here let me select my new item and the variant here. Okay, so I can select 128 GB because I want to sell 128 GB, and in case I want to sell 256 GB, I can select that out also, but I cannot sell 512 GB because I don't own the inventory of 512 GB. All right. Now, once you define these variants in a different lines, two different lines, because they are two different models, although the item is same. Now you see the description also changed from Samsung Galaxy S22 to 128 GB and 256 GB. Let's write it down like this: 5 and 5. Okay, and let's release this and let's post this as well. Let's head back to the item. So this is my item. Now you see the inventory is left with 10 only. And if we see the ledgers, So we can see that system again have created two different lines because of the two different models involved in it. Okay, and -5 and -5. So now we are left with 5 inventory of 256 GB and 5 inventory of 128 GB. And just for the case, our description also holds the information of my model, the information, the description of my item variant, and not from my item card. Because in the item variant description I have defined as 256 GB, 128 GB, and so on. So that's why that this now the system is giving the priority to the description of item variant over the description of item card, so that you could easily identify by just looking at the description that which model you are working with, right? So this is the concept of item variant. There is one more report involved in it, like if you wanted to have a look from the variant perspective, then you just type here the variant and click on this first icon. It will give you the picture of your like you can see item availability by variants. And currently I have selected the first item, which is Samsung Galaxy S22 from the item list. So that's why it is showing me the item availability of this item only. And from here you can see that I do not hold any inventory of 5 and 2 GB, but for 128 and 256 I have 5 each, and there is no planned receipt available, there is no scheduled receipt, there is no as such gross requirement because I don't have any open order for these two models or for these three different models as well. Okay, we can view it from the week perspective with respect to the date. We can check it net change or the balance at date depending on what exactly we want to see. Okay, so here also if you go to the related section in the item, you can easily watch out how your item is behaving with respect to location, with respect to bomb level, if it is your manufacturing item. Okay, so basically there is a report item availability by variant through which you can easily identify that how well your models are behaving with respect to your transactions related to the sales and the purchase. Okay, there is one more thing, like if you type here variant, you sorry, if you click on the second icon, it will open up the same screen which we have seen from by opening up the new item card. So if you want to see the item variant list right from uh, the list page of the item, that you can do so. Okay, so these are the certain things, like from here also we can go. So this whole soul explains the concept of item variant, that we can handle our different types of models, okay, with the help of this item variant screen. Guys, sometimes it might create a confusion in the mind of the people that whether this item variant or this item attribute or this item identifier are same or not. Maybe we can handle this part with the item attribute as well, with the item identifier as well, but no, it's not like the case. So because item attribute is a completely different activity, okay, different thing, different feature, and item variant is a different feature. We all learn about that how item variant helps us to handle the inventory perspective. But with the attributes, we are defining the attributes of not the variant, but we are defining the attributes of the item, that my this particular item color is red only. Okay, so it's not like that you can define multiple colors. So for example, if a company is launching different colors of the same model, then you have to create separate items for it, because you cannot define that I go my say my one item holds two different attributes, two different colors. My same item holds two different colors. So it's not like that. You can define the item attribute, the attribute, how it looks, what's the size of it, right? size can always be one only. The color can only be one of this item. So when you define color as orange, that means now this complete item is of orange only. And whenever you like, no matter how many variants you define here, that means you are buying uh, all the 128 GB model, 256 GB model of orange color only, right? So this is how item attribute functions, and the what item variant is we have just learned from this video. So I hope now you understand the concept of how item variant runs, how item attribute runs, and now it's up to you that you filter your requirement, like what's your user needs according to the functionality of these processes. So with that note, I would like to close the session of today, and thank you very much for watching this video. And I hope if you like this video, request you to please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.